Hey friends, welcome. This is Alan Lee here with Honestly Handyman Services, and I want to tell you guys specifically how I transitioned from full-time employment to self-employment. So let me tell you guys a little bit of story. A little while ago, I was working full-time as an auto mechanic. I did that for about 7 years before this, and we were told to go to this business seminar by people in my wife's at-home business. And we kept giving the excuse that we can't afford it, we don't want to go, we don't think she has anything to offer, anything like that. So what we did, just to kind of shut them up, we kind of we just bought the tickets to the seminar, and I was thinking the seminar was going to be a complete throwaway. So I'm like, okay, we paid for the tickets, but I want to recoup the cost. So I was starting to think of ways that I could recoup the cost. So what I did was I created some flyers, offering handyman services to people in my neighborhood. I've never done handyman services as a profession or offered them. I've only ever people have called me up and been like, hey, can you do this? Can you fix my toilet? And I'd be like, yeah, sure. But this was the first time it was legit. So I wrote up some flyers, passed them out, passed them around on Facebook, and got a bunch of people that were interested. And just talking to customers really made me think about, what is really needed. And what was desired was to have a good professional handyman that showed up and was on time and did the work as specified for the amount specified and good quality work. So I'm like, well, I could do that, So I just continued to do the handyman services in the nights and weekends, and I just absolutely fell in love with it. It was insane. It was crazy. It was one of those things where you do not imagine that it would ever happen. I had no thought of starting a business on my own, let alone a handyman business. I mean, I was an auto mechanic. That's I have, $10,000 worth of tools in auto as an auto mechanic. To work on cars. I don't have handyman stuff. I had some, but because I do work around the house and on people's houses and things like that. But anyway, so. So by the time this business seminar came by, I already had the thought of, well, this would be kind of cool to do more often, as a handyman. And so the business seminar we went to, and I thought it was going to be a complete throwaway, but man, I was just blown away. And I was totally compelled to start a handyman business on my own and just go to that. I didn't know what that looked like. So when I came back from that, I remember it was December. I really had this thought where I wanted to do this handyman thing, but I had this fear of going full time because I didn't know if there would be enough work for me. So I didn't want to just go ahead and go full time. So I had this idea that I was going to go to my employer and ask them if I could go part time with them. Work maybe 20 hours a week for the auto mechanics and 20 hours a week in the handyman business. And I went and talked to them. I was super nervous. But talked to him, kind of told him a little bit more of, what the job description would look like with me going down to 20 hours in my current position, and things like that, and kind of the timeline that would go. And then, so they heard what I had to say, and they're like, okay, we're going to give us a week, and we're going to think about this, and we'll get back to you. And so they got back to me, we had a meeting, and this was probably the best thing that ever happened. They told me, they said, hey, Alan, if you want to be a handyman, you just need to go balls to the wall. You need to do it. Going part-time and starting a business is not the way to do it. And it's so funny that this came from my past employer. They told me, they straight up told me, they said, if you want to do this if you want to do this as a career, you need to just do it. Jump all in. There's no, standing on the fence and being like, oh, well, I'll do it a little bit. I'll do it. No, you need to do it. And so that was probably one of the biggest things. So we decided that I was going to quit December 31st of that year and start my handyman business January 1st of the next year. And so that whole month, December, man, I worked like crazy because I was still afraid, right? And so I had this thought where I need to gain as many customers as I possibly can. So I worked every night and every weekend for the month of December. Me and my wife, we sat down and we were like, if this is what we want to do, I think this is the only option. I don't know if we're going to see much of each other in December, and I just need to kind of do this to get as much clientele as possible. So, man, December was crazy. I didn't see my wife very much. but I got a whole lot of customers, and some of those customers are still my great customers today. And so forever grateful for that, and forever grateful for my past employer. I mean, that was a great job. That was, up to that date, that was the best job I had ever had. Some of the best bosses that I will ever have. I mean, I still go by that shop and I see them all the time. I highly respect the guys that work there, and the ladies. And I just, yeah, I mean, they've taught me so much in the realm of, you know, what it means to be a good employee and what it means to actually do work and create something for yourself. So I just appreciate it. And then also their example. I mean, they are also business owners and good friends, and it's just great to see that and have them behind me in all of that. So that would probably be my biggest recommendation for you. If you are thinking about starting a handyman business and going part-time in your current job, I would just say do it. I mean, go full bore with the handyman business. Obviously, if you can do it, like if you have enough clientele, if wherever you live, like if it's a town of like, you know, 20 people and there's not a town for like 100 miles around, then maybe it's not the best idea. But I mean, if it's you know, if you can do it, then I would highly recommend that you just do it full time. So yeah, that would be my thought of how to go from part-time, or how to go from full-time employment to being a full-time employer, full-time business owner. It's not easy. It's scary. It's hard. And then you got to deal with money, and then you got to deal with taxes, and then yeah, it's crazy. But it's one of the most rewarding things I've ever done in my life, and my wife would probably agree. It has totally put us in a position where we can think outside of the box. We're not held down by a business that we work for, being an employee for someone. We now have the opportunity to think of new ideas and always be just engaging in new opportunities and things like that. So yeah, that's a little story of how I transitioned from being a full-time employee to a business owner. So I hope that helped you out. If it did, give this video a thumbs up. Leave a comment in the comment section below with your story. I would absolutely love to hear it. And please like and subscribe, and hit the bell button to be notified every time I release a new video. So thank you all so much, and I hope you have a great day.